Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's the final days of our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. It means we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Closing out our week here. We've got a holiday tomorrow. We'll take the day off on Friday. Hopefully you are in the same boat. If you're not off the clock just yet, we'll get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We're kind of slamming 3 shows into one here. Over the course of the next 2 hours, we're going to talk LSU, Oklahoma. Brandon John will be with us here in a couple of minutes. He covers the Sooners. We'll play some What If Wednesday. I've got my SEC picks against the spread coming up. Pick for LSU and Oklahoma. Pick for the Saints and the Dolphins. Got to pick SEC games against the spread. Tons of stuff to get to over the course of the next 2 hours, and we are so fired up to be here with you. I was looking at my power rankings last week as compared to this week, and there's very little volatility. It's making me feel like I've kind of got it nailed. It took 14 weeks to get here, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable with it. The question is, how do the power rankings line up with my picks that are coming to follow a little bit later? And that really remains to be seen. We'll get to those picks here coming up in about 15 minutes. And then, of course, we haven't talked a lot about LSU and Oklahoma because we've been talking about coaching search stuff. We did a little bit of baseball yesterday. We've been talking about the Saints swapping kickers and losing games to the Falcons. And, we just haven't gotten there yet. And I think it's just natural that LSU at this point, the fan base is not locked in on this game. I wrote a column about this back this morning for LouisianaSports.net. It was just this theoretically is a great deal, LSU and Oklahoma in the season finale, but neither team had anything to play for in this game last year, and LSU has nothing to play for in this game. So you're not getting those huge stakes that you would think you were getting with two programs as proud as LSU and Oklahoma. It just is what it is. LSU's not locked in on this game from a fan base perspective. The players are. We talked to him yesterday, and we'll discuss Whit Weeks and his injury. We'll discuss the injury report that Frank Wilson gave us earlier this week, and we'll hear a little bit more from him coming up later on. But it's just not been a situation that we would have thought after LSU beat Clemson that you're getting into right now. With LSU and Oklahoma, you would have thought there had been more stakes in this game for LSU, but there aren't. In fact, they don't have a coach, and their quarterback's not playing. So it's just going to be an interesting 4 hours from Norman, Oklahoma. Let's crank things up the way we do every single day. It's with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
So we'll get to Brandon Drum here in just a couple of minutes. He covers Oklahoma for On 3 and Rivals. And this is a spot where I believe Oklahoma has to win. They do have 2 really good wins, and there are a lot of volatile things that can happen over the course of the weekend. So we'll get Brandon's thoughts on that, as well as this incredible defense that Oklahoma brings to the table. And what does he make of the offense? So let's bring in Brandon Drum, covers the Oklahoma Sooners for the Rivals On 3 Network. Give us a little bit of time here on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Brandon, we appreciate the time. Happy Thanksgiving. How are you?
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing well. Let's start with something that I just alluded to. As you might imagine, not a lot of college football playoff talk here in Baton Rouge. A lot of Lane Kiffin talk, a lot of who's next talk, a lot of transfer portal talk. Not a lot of college football playoff talk. Does Oklahoma have to win on Saturday?
Yeah, they do. They have to. You know what? I don't. Look, there are some people at ESPN in particular that think Oklahoma, even with a loss, has a 60% chance of making the playoffs still, but I don't know that I would want to trust that. If I was Oklahoma, I would want to go ahead and take care of business, and instead of, hoping you get in or taking that 60 or 40% chance that you don't, win and go ahead and stay home and have a home playoff. That would probably be pretty nice.
I think that would be quite nice for the folks up there in Norman. I know about the defense, and we're going to get to that. I'm curious about the offense. What percentage of the midseason slump, specifically the Texas game, can you just solely put on John Mateer's hand that is now, we think, healed and obviously feels better than it did in the Red River rivalry?
Yeah, look, I think in that game in particular, I think he came back, he didn't practice, so he kind of forced things. And I think from that point on, just confidence isn't there. His eyes, his trusting of what he's seeing isn't there the way that it was prior to, him getting injured. Look, I'm of the belief that he probably shouldn't have gotten the surgery during the season because he could have set out and come back. And I don't know the healing aspect, so I'm not a doctor. But just from a mental standpoint, it feels like he kind of screwed him up a little bit. He was 17 of 18 with a broken hand against Auburn. Auburn has a good defense, like a really, really good defense. 17 of 18 the last 3.5 quarters with a broken hand. And he went off and did that, set out, kind of lost his groove, didn't practice before the Texas matchup, and everybody saw what happened. He just wasn't the same wide open guy, not seeing him, and cost Oklahoma a ball game. And it's been that way ever since. Like, he will miss wide open dudes and throw it into double coverage. And you're like, what are you looking at, man? He just rushes. But the one thing you'll never be able to say about him is he's not a gamer, because he is. For some odd reason, in big moments, he makes big plays, and that's why Oklahoma continues to win, because he does just enough to help Oklahoma get over that hump every game.
What are they trying to accomplish on offense if things are going well? Like, what's the identity of this Ben Arbuckle, John Mateer, Oklahoma offense?
Give the ball to 24, Xavier Robinson.
Yeah.
Ride that big dude. He's really, really, him and Caden Durham are really, really good friends. And same with David Stone. They all grew up together. My son, in the summer, actually trains with Caden and all those guys at this weight facility up here in Oklahoma City. And they're all tight, super good friends. Just so it's kind of funny that both those guys end up, playing for an SEC school. They're very similar players, just kind of power backs, strong, big lower body type guys. But they were all on the same team growing up. Can you imagine that? That's scary. But yeah, that's what you do. You hand it to 24, you let him run, and then you try to get it to number 5, Isaiah Catania, and let him, make a big play or two for you, because that's what he's known to do. Being close to 1,000 yards receiving already this year.
Yeah, he showed that speed against Missouri back on Saturday. Let's go to the defensive side of the football, where Brent Venables has been a star for better than 2 decades in college football. What's the strength of this Oklahoma defense if you had to pinpoint it? I'm sure you've got options there.
Defensive line. I think the defensive line is just elite. It might be the best defensive line in college football. And they're deep. That's the scary part. It's like, our Mason Thomas goes down, no problem. You just throw Marvin Jones Jr. out there, former 5-star. The other side, you got Taylor Wine, who has been all-SEC defensive lineman and defensive player of the week several times this year. Interior, you got Jaden Jackson, top 50 player overall at a high school. You got David Stone, a 5-star. Dominique Williams, who was the most ballyhooed guy. You guys know about that, LSU. Yep. He almost went to LSU. And then Grayson Alton, who was ironically a quarterback in high school and ballooned into being a defensive lineman that Oklahoma has developed into quite stud. And that's just kind of the surface. You got Adepuju Adebalara, and he is a former 5-star DM as well. Danny Okoye as well, the edge, who LSU recruited very hard. So, they are just super deep, super talented, and they're super young. That's the crazy part about this. Outside of our Mason Thomas, Grayson Holland and Dominique Williams, they return everybody, literally everybody next year. So they're young, they're talented, and that's kind of the core of the defense would be the defensive front.
LSU does not run the ball well. They don't really try to run it. They're last in the SEC in carries. Basically, the entire offense at this point is throw it out to the perimeter and see if somebody can break a tackle, which more often than not, they don't, which is why they only scored 1 touchdown against Western Kentucky. So you look at the Oklahoma secondary and how they would match up with LSU, who's pretty athletic on the edge but doesn't do a lot down the field. Like, how's the Oklahoma secondary?
Eli Bowen and Peyton Bowen have both been named Jim Thorpe back-to-back weeks. Jim Thorpe Players of the Week. And one's a corner, one's a safety. Peyton's a safety, Eli's a corner. Eli was a freshman. They both were freshman All-Americans, actually, during their time as freshmen, which is kind of funny. You have Cortland Guillory and Jacoby Johnson on the other end, who will rotate at corner. Gentry Williams been banged up. They're hoping he comes back at some point this year. Maybe this game, maybe, for the playoffs, because he's probably their best corner overall when he's healthy. He just struggles to stay healthy. But they're really deep. Michael Boganowski is just a headhunter. You got Kendall Daniels at Cheetah, who said he grew up an LSU fan, but he's a 6'4", 235, 240-pound Cheetah. He plays safety, nickel, outside backer. Does it all, kind of like Isaiah Simmons back in the day. Does it all for Oklahoma, so he's kind of a special talent. So that's kind of the secondary. I will say at one point they were giving up big plays, but ever since Cortland Guillory, freshman, has kind of found his footing, that's stopped. And when Eli Bowen came back, it really stopped, and you kind of saw a progression there with Oklahoma secondary. So they've kind of hit their stride across the board. But, mobile quarterbacks is where they kind of and they struggle a little bit with those. So that's kind of where he's worried.
We'll see. Michael Van Buren certainly more athletic than Garrett Nussmeier. What's your sense on what the ceiling is for this Oklahoma team? Do you think they can win a championship with that defense and scoring enough points, or do you feel like there might be a lower ceiling than that?
I think they can make a run. They're not winning the title. Like, I just, at some point, they're going to lose because they lose a game 28-21. Something to that extent, because your offense just can't muster enough points to help the defense out. And, they've done a good job of not turning the ball over, but the problem is they're relying on Tate Sandell to kick 50-yard field goals every week, too, which he's awesome, probably the best kicker in college football. But you can't do that and expect to win championships. So I think they can make a run. I think their defense will allow them to make a run. I just don't know that they get past Ohio State. And if they do get past Ohio State, I definitely don't know that they get past whoever they meet in the semifinals. So I cannot see them winning a national title this year. Next year, that's a conversation we can have because they return everybody. But yeah, I just can't imagine it this year.
Sounds like the foundation set up there for Brent Venables. Brandon, we appreciate a little bit of time. Have a great Thanksgiving holiday and enjoy the football on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a Thanksgiving too.
Brandon Drum with the On 3 and Rivals Network covering the Oklahoma Sooners. It's a tough matchup for LSU with LSU's offensive line against that ridiculous Oklahoma defensive front. Hopefully Michael Van Buren's athleticism can give LSU a little bit of something. We talked to Michael yesterday, and I've got a story coming up tomorrow on him and how the Tigers plan to attack this Oklahoma defense. But it's not a great matchup on paper. I will promise you that. All right, when we step aside, we'll come back, and we will talk a little about the SEC weekend to come here. Rivalry weekend, a lot of action on Friday, a lot more on Saturday. We'll talk about it and pick it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Vaughn and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, closet space is not something I personally think about a lot. Maybe you're in the same boat as me, but you have somebody move into the house like I did with my fiance at the time, now wife, and she said, this is not going to work. I said, okay, well, I didn't even realize that. We moved because we had another kid. We needed some extra space, so we moved. But you don't have to move to create a new set of closet circumstances for your home. Let David come in and customize one. It starts with a questionnaire in that consultation. What you got? What do you need? here's what we can do. And if you look at the website, onebathandclosets.com, you'll see the pictures of their awesome work. It is both functional, customized. It's also aesthetically pleasing. It's gorgeous. They're not going to cut corners just to get to the next job and take your check. They're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. So if you are looking for a restored, rejuvenated closet situation, let David Duvall and his team help you out with that. They've been doing it for 3 decades. It's One Bath and Closets. You can find them online, onebathandclosets.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Invite you to shout out my guy, Joey Blanchard. Looking to get into the pool of your dreams. Maybe it's a great opportunity to start that process in time for Christmas so that you can give that gift of a designed swimming pool, maybe in picture form, and then it'll be ready by the time the summer rolls around. You can reach out to my guy, Joey, who's the owner of the company. Say, hey, can we start this process? Maybe I can think about mentioning it for Christmas. He'd love to help you with that. 225-252-7745. No matter how big or how small you're looking to make that pool of your dreams at your home, Renaissance Homes and Pools, happy to help you out with that. So what if Wednesday coming up next? But right now, we've got to make our picks against the spread. We are so far gone from 500. We're not even looking at the standings this week. We're not even looking at the record books. And we're not going to dive too deep into these games. We're going to give one thought. We're going to make the pick. We've been going too deep into research all year long. What's it gotten us? 1 million games under 500? That's not good for anybody. We're giving one thought and a pick on these games. Let's get cooking. All right, we start Friday at 11 a.m. It is the Egg Bowl. It is Starkville, Mississippi. It's Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and Mississippi State is catching 7.5. I think everybody's going to be on State. Everybody's going to be on State. Everybody's going to be on State. I'm on State. Plus 7.5. Give me a touchdown and a half a point with a motivated Mississippi State team and what's going to be a festive environment in Starkville. Friday, 2:30, ABC, clean old-fashioned hate. It's Georgia at Georgia Tech. Is that right?
Yes.
Georgia at Georgia Tech. That's
Yes.
where that game is.
Well,
Okay.
no, they're playing the Dome.
No, Georgia Tech plays in Atlanta. I wrote this and I feel like that's wrong.
No, they are.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, it's at Georgia Tech. All right, I want to make sure that was right. I don't like to get that wrong. All right, 13.5 is the number. Let me just tell you, Georgia Tech thinks they're really, really physical. You know who's really, really physical? Georgia. 13.5. Lay the points. Taking it. Friday, 6:30, ABC. It is Texas A&M at Texas. The number is 2.5. The Aggies are favored on the road. Texas got trucked by Georgia when they played a good team, and they were down by 1,000 to State. They're not that good. Texas A&M is good. Revenge spot. Aggies win that one. Give me the Aggies. Minus the 2.5 in Austin. Now we go to Saturday's slate. 11 o'clock. ACC Network. Kentucky at Louisville. Louisville is a 3.5-point favorite. Louisville scored 6 on SMU last week. Miller Moss is questionable. Louisville, not very good. Give me Kentucky. Plus 3.5 points. Give me the Cats. Plus 3.5.
This might be your best week.
11 o'clock, SEC Network. Another one of these games that nobody cares about. ACC Network for Kentucky, Louisville. SEC Network for Clemson and South Carolina. South Carolina's a 2.5-point favorite in this game. They stink. They're bad. Clemson, revenge spot from last year in Columbia. 2.5 points. Give me Clemson and the points. Vanderbilt is at Tennessee. Now, this is a big one. 2:30 on ESPN.
Huge.
Let me tell you, Vanderbilt, 15th in the SEC in pass defense. Tennessee, best pass offense in the Southeastern Conference. It's in Knoxville. Vanderbilt's not going to the playoff, people. It's a cute story. It's a nice story. It's not going to happen. Big Brother wins, and they cover minus the 3.5. Give me the balls. 2:30, SEC Network. Saturday, Missouri at Arkansas. Missouri is a 2.5-point favorite. I'm off Arkansas. They're terrible. I keep trying to bet them because their offense is good. They'll probably cover even though they won't win. They won't win. They won't even cover. Give me Missouri minus the 2.5 on the road in Fayetteville. Where are Bobby Bowden and Steve Spurrier? We need them. 3:30, ESPN 2, Florida State's at Florida. These two teams are awful. They might not make a bowl game. Florida is favored. Florida hadn't been favored in 3 months. Well, they're favored by 1.5 in this one. I got to go with Florida State. Why? I don't know. They're not good. They were good Labor Day weekend. They haven't been good since. Florida's awful. Give me Florida State plus the 1.5, whatever. And then you got the Iron Bowl, 6:30, ABC. We're not getting too deep into this, are we? We're not. It's at Auburn. Does weird stuff happen at Auburn? It does. Is Alabama kind of playing iffy right now? They are. Am I taking Auburn plus the 6.5? I haven't made up my mind.
What? Do it. Come on.
I will take Alabama minus the 6.5.
Get out of here.
Alabama minus the 6.5. Alabama minus the 6.5. Alabama minus the 6.5. Just one touchdown. Auburn has no coach.
I don't like how they're not playing their quarterback either.
They got Deuce Knight. He's good.
But he's not playing.
Why?
They're starting Daniels.
Why don't they put Deuce Knight in?
I guess they want to preserve his red shirt. That's what I've heard. They're starting
Give
Daniels.
me Alabama
Yeah.
minus 6.5. I knew that. See? That's the research I've been doing, Jordan. I'm in. Deuce Knight's good.
He
was
is really
last
good.
week.
That's why I wanted him to play. They're starting this Daniels guy.
Bama minus 6.5. That's the play.
Oh.
Here are my rivalry week picks. Mississippi State plus 7.5. I'm with everybody. Georgia minus 13.5.
That's going to be a good game.
Texas A&M minus 2.5 on the road at Austin. Louisville stinks. I'm betting against them. Kentucky plus 3.5. Clemson plus 2.5. They're on the road. Tennessee Vols minus 3.5 against Little Brother from Nashville. I got Missouri minus 2.5. I'm so done with Bobby Petrino in Arkansas. Give me Florida State catching a 1.5 in the swamp, and I will take Alabama in Jordan Hare minus 6.5. Could be my best week.
Could be.
It could be my best week based on limited research.
Hey, sometimes you got to switch it up. You just switched it up. You say you did all the research and it wasn't hidden. Now you just one thing about the game. Let's see what happens.
I didn't see Alabama Auburn. It was the bottom of my sheet. That's why I didn't have a pick. So I just had to come up with one on the top of my head. I went through all the games and wrote them down and did make sure I outlined them all, and then I missed Alabama Auburn, which shows a little bit of a lack of show prep, but maybe what I need, because when we take 45 minutes and dive through the whole slate, we just stink.
Yeah.
So we got to change it up. You have to make corrections.
Right.
You got to be willing to adapt. The landscape of college football is changing. I got to change with it. These are my picks. How many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 6 and 3.
6 and 3?
That's what it is.
Don't sell yourself short. Probably go,
if I'm selling myself short, it's 1 and 8. That's the only way I can sell myself short. I don't think I can go 0 and 9. If I go 0 and 9, that's impressive.
Well,
statistically, 0 and 9 is as impressive as 9 and 0. If you just go by statistics.
Well, yeah, because you do a sports show, so it's like.
But losing every one of a 50-50 shot is just as impressive as winning every one of a 50-50 shot. The ineptitude is as good as the excellence.
Well, look, Chris Mahler just texted me. He told me to, I guess because I was picking Auburn, to bleep it, Jordan, roll tide. So I'm definitely going Auburn. War Eagle.
I sent a bunch of picks in to Marler earlier today, and they may not match any of the selections I just made. Here's my deal with Marler asked for picks for the graphic on Saturday. I see the text message. Within 40 seconds, there's a response with every pick.
Yeah.
There's no research. And I'm having a good year on that. So, that's all winners.
So you have the
no
blueprint.
spread.
You have the blueprint already. What to do?
What game do we want to watch? I'm going to talk about that in the next segment.
Georgia versus Georgia Tech is going to be a brawl.
Georgia's going to dump truck those nerds.
Remember
That's
the game
a nerdy
last year?
school.
Remember the game last year?
They lost. Georgia Tech lost.
They should have
They'll
won.
lose
They got
again.
bailed out.
They'll lose again. They're not good.
That game's going to be good.
None of the ACC teams are good. This is the secret.
Yeah.
They need to put me in charge of the committee. I go on the ESPN show that I haven't watched all year this year, and they say, well, what's wrong with the ACC? Here's what I say. They stink. Bad at football. These teams are bad. They play poorly. They lose a lot. We don't care about them. And that applies to a lot of ACC teams. But I did bet on some ACC teams. Florida State, Clemson. Yeah, I bet on
I'm about to say, you
ACC
definitely said
teams.
Florida State. Oh, Lord. I mean, Florida stinks, but Florida State, they're just as about us. They both stink.
Florida State's got 5 wins. They're trying to get bowl eligible in the swamp, baby. Coach Norvell getting not fired. Not an extension, but he's not getting fired. You know why he's not getting fired? Because they don't want to hire against all these other teams.
Yeah, smart.
He's lucky LSU stinks, and Auburn stinks, and Florida stinks, and Ole Miss is going to lose their coach, and Penn State stinks.
State, yep.
He's lucky all those teams stink, or else he'd be on his butt.
Oh, they need to get rid of him ASAP. He's on borrowed time.
Kicked our butt twice. Either him or Jordan Travis.
So
either way.
We need to talk about that. Malik Neighbors dropping punts. We don't need to.
Yeah, I did. All right. What If Wednesday coming up next?
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that is on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. And they all come with America's best warranty. Powertrain warranty, 10 years, 100,000-mile. New vehicle bumper-to-bumper warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles. The peace of mind you can get driving off the lot with that warranty, it's industry-leading. It's incredible. Talking about enhanced roadside assistant, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No matter where you are, they will come to you. Speaking of that, complimentary scheduled maintenance, and they'll make it valet for you. They'll come to you, get your vehicle, bring it in, do the maintenance work, bring it right back to you. You don't lift a finger. You don't spend $1. 3 years of it for folks at Genesis. It's a luxury brand. It's a luxury experience. It's all at a reasonable price. Go by and see them. Airline at PQ. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, probably on Airline. Go see them at PQ. Tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you in. Get behind the wheel of a Genesis and get America's best warranty. It's all online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Reminder, we'll be off tomorrow for the Thanksgiving holiday. We'll also be off on Friday, so back at it on Monday. That's why we're kind of cramming everything into this show. We got our SEC picks in. We'll get our Saints pick in. We'll get our LSU Oklahoma pick in. We'll also talk to J.D. Pickell a little bit later. Got plenty to do over the next hour and a half, so appreciate y'all being with us. This is one of the biggest travel days of the year, so if you are keeping us along for the ride as you travel, wherever that may be, we appreciate it. Hopefully get to wherever you're headed safely and enjoy a wonderful holiday tomorrow and Friday. Back in action on Monday. All right, What If Wednesday?
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question. What if?
All right, let's start off with this top one. So if you could teleport in and out of one rivalry game this weekend, what would you choose?
So I guess your options there, the biggest ones would be Michigan-Ohio State, where Ohio State's undefeated. Michigan is, I believe, only has 2 losses. Is that right?
Yeah, I got you real quick. I got you.
They're right on
Big Ten Saturday. Michigan does have 2 losses.
So,
yes.
10-2 with a win over Ohio State, that's a good shot to find your way in. I mean, they had a tough loss at Oklahoma. So that's what's one. Certainly Texas A&M. Texas is 9-3. You could make the case that Texas A&M could get to the playoff with a win. I don't know that I would make it because I don't think it's going to happen. But you also got the Egg Bowl, which is just massive implications for Ole Miss. You've got Florida State. You've got the Iron Bowl. You've got Georgia Tech. Like, there's a lot to see. I want to discuss one of them and then give my answer. My answer has got to be the Egg Bowl. That's just going to be high drama. I think Ole Miss is going to send a bunch of people there. If they lose, they might be out of the playoff. Their coach might leave at the end of the game. Mississippi State. It's going to be weird. The Egg Bowl, that's probably where I would go. Texas is an amazing guinea pig for my theory on scheduling in the college football playoff.
Okay.
If Texas wins this game, Texas will have beaten A&M, beaten Oklahoma, gone 9-3, and I believe they'll miss the playoff. Why would they miss the playoff? Because they chose, instead of playing Rice and winning 70-3, to go play at Ohio State and lose, and it will cost them a playoff spot. Instead of rewarding that and saying, oh, wow, you scheduled tough out of league, you played the toughest place you could possibly play. Yep. You lost. You came back. You won 9 of your next 11, and including 2 huge wins over Oklahoma and A&M. Yep. You're in. They won't do that. They'll go, oh, well, what team only has 2 losses? You're in. And it just proved that you don't need to go schedule that game. If you win it, great. If you lose it, It hurts you. So that's going to be my Texas guinea pig argument if they beat Texas A&M.
Okay.
But the answer for me is got to be the Egg Bowl because that's just going to be high drama.
Yeah, no, it is. Mine would have to be Vanderbilt versus Tennessee. I got to see if this Pavia guy is real or not. You know, I get it. I still got that bad taste in my mouth from the LSU game. So I just got to see if he's the real deal or not. That's how we're going to decide.
I mean, his work's pretty well established through 2 years.
He's got a good resume. He's brought Vanderbilt out the ashes. But this is the game. This is the game. So
we'll see.
We'll see. So what if Alabama loses the Iron Bowl?
This might be hyperbole. It might be. It might be. I don't know if Caleb DeBoer can recover from that. I guess technically the answer is he could sign another great class, fill your staff out for next year and go out and win a bunch of games next year and you recover. But you start 9-3 last year, lose to Vanderbilt, then you come back with another 9-3 and lose to a coachless Auburn team in the Iron Bowl in the game that matters the most to that fan base. The fan base is going to be furious the entire offseason. They're going to miss the playoff. Yeah. I mean, he might have to take the Penn State job. Like, that's what was hypothesized on Monday. That's what Denton Day said. I might ask J.D. Pickell about it in the second hour. I just don't – that's not a – you can recover from some stuff. If they had gone to Athens and lost, like, you can recover from that. The Iron Bowl?
Yeah.
To a team with no quarterback, no coach, no prospects, missed the playoffs 2 years in a row? I don't know about that.
No, you actually make a great point. That could get real hairy real fast. It would be crazy though if he skips town to go to Penn State after this season. That would be insane. So
maybe it's just a more comfortable landing spot than the pressure cooker of being the guy who followed Nick Saban.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, what if you could set the football TV schedule for Thanksgiving?
Easy.
Okay.
Give me the Lions at noon.
Okay. I'll say,
give me the just hypothetically, just give me the Lions Packers.
Okay.
At noon.
Well, they're already noon though.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Give me the Cowboys at 3:15. Okay. Cowboys Commanders. That's what I want to see at 3:15. Then in the primetime slot, get out of here, NFL. I want the Egg Bowl. When I've had a few drinks, I'm eating some pie. I might be eating my delicious leftover turkey sandwich. Everybody's kind of low vibes. There might be Christmas music on in the other room. I want the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night. I do not care about the NFL. I don't really need A&M in Texas. I want the Egg Bowl. I want two teams that, generally speaking, aren't playing for a lot, that I don't really care which one wins or loses, battling it out, true hatred on Thanksgiving night. That is what I want.
Okay.
And no NFL, no other college game, the Egg Bowl.
Okay.
Give it the eyes of the nation.
Hunt, have you always been this into the Egg Bowl? Is this a Lane Kiffin?
No, that has nothing to do with Lane Kiffin. It's the perfect, late night, mindless watching game that can oftentimes be funny. Did you see a few years ago when the Ole Miss guy lifted his leg to fake pee, got a 15-yard penalty, and everybody lost their jobs?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Okay.
You tell me what other rivalry game gives you that.
I mean,
and it's not like generally speaking, no, Lane Kiffin's changed this in Oxford, but he's about to leave.
Oh.
Generally speaking, there's nothing to play for. It's like they're trying to get their 6th win, they're trying to get their 8th win, but they're kind of on level playing field.
Real hate, though.
It's Dan Mullen, it's Houston Nutt, it's Sylvester Croom, it's Tuberville. That's what I need. That's my rooting interest. The Iron Bowl is too stressful because somebody's trying to compete for a national championship. That's not generally the case in the Egg Bowl. I need the Egg Bowl. Prime time.
I would have never thought you were this big advocate for the Egg Bowl, but here we are.
Get out of here with the Chargers and the Bengals and the Dolphins. I don't want to watch the NFL. That's the afternoon, the nighttime, the prime time. That's the Egg Bowl.
Egg Bowl. Okay, what if a Christmas present is spotted before wrapping?
It's a tough scene. Look.
No, don't tell me.
There may or may not have been a package delivered this week.
Okay.
That was leaned up against the garage that the soon-to-be 4-year-old saw. It's supposed to be delivered a month from yesterday.
Oh, so it's their fault. Yeah.
Well, no. That's when it's technically supposed to show up.
Yeah.
It showed up a month early.
Oh, okay.
So we got a bit of an issue. I think I've smoothed it over. Before he got out of the car seat, I went and dealt with it.
Yeah.
He asked his mom about it the next morning. She just played it off. I think a month down the line, if hypothetically this might show up at a different moment in a different house, he will not put those two pieces together because this was in a box. Yeah. It will not be in a box. But it was a tough look. I was a little panicked when he saw it.
As you should have been, because it's like, and he's 4, so you got a lot more years. He turns 4 next month. Yeah, he has a lot more years to believe. I'll give you one. I was worse as a kid. I used to go up and like at night, sneak in at the bottom of the package, like pull a little bit of wrapper off. Just each day, just trying to see like, oh, what this is. But you got to make sure it's not where they see it.
No, I'm the opposite. Like they used to try. I'm one of 4 cousins. They used to try to can we open one on Christmas Eve?
No,
we're not opening one on Christmas Eve. It's a Christmas Day thing. I'm not opening a birthday present 3 days early either. It's for a designated day.
I'm an advocate for opening presents early. Mm-hmm. I used to love them. I'm like, you can get one, open one.
Greedy. Oh, yeah. Greedy.
Oh,
it's a bad look on you, Jordan.
Hey, man, I'm a Christmas fiend. Okay, I was a Christmas fiend.
Apparently, my dad used to go into his parents' room when he was a kid at like 4 a.m. And tell them that it was time to go open presents. They were like, go back to sleep.
Oh, no, I'm up early, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Oh, we ain't sleeping. It's time to open some presents up. No,
that's not early in my house. That's just the time the kids get up. So
Lord.
your day will come, Jordan. Your day will come.
Hey, don't wish it on me right
now.
Not yet,
when I was in college, I used to set my alarm for 10:50 a.m. I know how that goes. I see Cassie nodding her head over there, sleeping till all hours of the day. Not anymore.
I still sleep late.
Those days are long gone. I do, however, have the ability when I wake up at 6:40 with the kids to like fall back asleep on the couch at like 8 for another 30 minutes, which is nice.
That's a real skill.
It can happen.
It's a real skill, right?
It is. All right, that's What If Wednesday. Let's come back and pick Saints and Dolphins next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci's Hitter's House. If you've got a high school baseball player in your home, if you've got a youth softball player in your home, Marucci's Hitter's House is where you need to be. Of course, November the 28th, which is coming up in 2 days, December the 14th, you can get huge discounts on some of your favorite gear from Marucci, Victus, Balm, Lizard Skins. Shop and save. You can also take some hacks in the indoor batting cages. If you get the Marucci Campus Tour, you can get 20% off in the Hitter's House that same day. So for more information and tickets for the campus tour, you can go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour. That's maruccisports.com/campus-tour. It's Marucci's Hitter's House Warehouse sale. It is Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. from Black Friday. That is November 28th to December 14th. Get on by Marucci and see the Hitter's House.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Look, I can get on board with SEC picks on a Wednesday, considering that there's SEC action coming up in 2 days. It's admittedly tough to dive into the Sunday NFL slate on Wednesday. Like that's a long way out. The Saints are just starting prep for the Dolphins, but it's our last show, so we got to do it this week. I want to talk Saints and Dolphins here. Dolphins have had a weird season. It's been a weird run here. Got off to an 0-3 start. Got off to a 1-6 start, and their only win was against the Jets in Miami. So at that point, you're 1-6 with your win against the Jets. You've lost to the Browns 31-6. You've lost to Carolina. You lost to what we thought was a bad team in New England. Got smoked by Indianapolis. We didn't know those teams were very good yet. And so you buried the Dolphins at that point. McDaniel's going to get fired. You're going to get a new GM. Like they're going to blow this thing up in Miami. And oh, by the way, they've won 3 of 4. They don't have Tyreek Hill. He's out for the year. But they've played a little bit better, and they've played with a true identity in the last month after getting shellacked by Cleveland. Their identity is very clear. It's run the ball and play defense. You look at their win against Atlanta. They beat them 34-10 in Atlanta. And Devon Achane had 18 carries and was targeted in the pass game 7 times. He had 5 catches. So you had 23 touches in that game for Devon Achane. They win by giving him those touches and holding Atlanta to 10 points. They lose to Baltimore 28-6, get smoked. But then they beat Buffalo. I know, like, division game, they get a little wonky. I get it. But they beat them 30-13. Well, how'd they do that? Well, they gave Devon Achane the ball 22 times for 174 yards, and they threw it to him 6 times. It's 28 touches for Devon Achane, and they held the Josh Allen offense to 13 points. And then they beat Washington last week in overtime. Now, it was a Marcus Mariota Washington, not a Jaden Daniels Washington. But they did it by giving Devon Achane 21 carries for 120 yards and then 5 targets. That's 26 touches for Devon Achane. Like, this is a very, very clear game plan and strategy for this Miami team. That's the Miami side of this. What about New Orleans? Well, I think you've got to change some of the things that you're doing on offense. Number one, and it's been the biggest talking point this week, but it's just very obvious, and it's got to change. You have to stop giving the ball to Taysom Hill on 40%, 50% of your plays in the red zone. Get rid of that. It's not helping your quarterback develop. It's not helping you win games. If it's not helping your quarterback develop and it's not helping you win games, it's not doing anything. So stop. Now, I know why you're doing it. It gives you a numbers advantage. You're trying to help a banged up and patchwork offensive line that's not very good. I get it, but you got to do something different. Kellen Moore was brought here to develop a quarterback and to create an offense that can win games. Get to the roots of that instead of deviating to a Taysom Hill-led red zone approach, which is not working. Now, I don't know what will work. I don't have that part of this equation. But you've got to run the ball with Kamara and then Neal. And then you've got to get these young receivers involved. Shuck has been okay. And I stood here, I guess sat here is a more reasonable description of what I'm doing here. And I talked on Friday. I'm not ready to just, boom, give the fact that Tyler Shuck played great against Carolina. He'll play great again this week. Like, there are going to be ups and downs. Hopefully this is an up. Unfortunately, it's against a Washington defense that's playing very well. I'm not going to give you too much credit for handcuffing Marcus Mariota, but I will give you credit for doing that against Josh Allen. So I don't have the solution, which I guess is part of this gig, but there's another part of this gig, which is you brought in Kellen Moore for the solution. So while I can't give it to you, I'd like to see it from you. You know some of the things that aren't working. You've got an opportunity now with Tyler Shuck having 2 full games under his belt. He's seen this. It's time to do something. And so I feel apprehensive and pretty pessimistic about the Saints offensively. Defensively, I'm just hoping you see something similar to what you saw in Carolina, where you knew they were going to get off the bus and hand the ball to Rico Dowdle, and you shut him down. And you know they're going to get off the bus and hand the ball to Devon Achane. Can you shut him down? The Saints defense has been Jekyll and Hyde. There have been games where you look up and you go, that's pretty damn good. And there have been games where you look up and go, well, that's just awful. And we've gone through that week after week on this show. And I guess that's the nature of a week-to-week NFL. But if you can get the quality defense that you've gotten in some of these games, you were good at Carolina. I thought you were okay against Tampa. You got no help from the offense. Thought you were awful in Chicago. I thought you were okay in New England. Thought you were good against the Giants. Thought you were pretty good against Buffalo. You gave up 31, but I thought they were in the fight. You were good against San Francisco. You were good against Arizona. There are plenty of games where you've been good, but there have been games where you've been terrible. And so I don't know which one it's going to be. But at this point, I can't sit here with confidence and suggest that the Saints, aging as they are with some speed on the other side with Miami, no Tyreek Hill speed, but with speed, I can't suggest that the Saints are going to keep up with that to the extent they'd have to bail the offense out against a good defense. So as I look at this, I'm not ready to pick the Saints to go on the road and win much at all. You look at what's coming up. They're not going to win at Tampa. They got a shot to win in Tennessee, and I give them an outside shot to go to Atlanta and win. But you look at their road games thus far, trounced by Seattle, beaten by 2 scores at Buffalo, crushed by the Bears, crushed by the Rams, and then the one good performance at Carolina. One of those is not like the other. I'll take the Dolphins to win this game 20-10 over the Saints. I'm hopeful that there's a little more fireworks from the Saints offense than just 10 points. But as I look at it, I can't sit here and comfortably predict that. So I'll take Miami to win their 3rd straight game, take the Saints to drop their 2nd straight game, to drop the 2-10. And you'll start really looking at draft odds even more closely at that point, especially with a trip to Tampa coming up on the backside of that. So it's tough. It is what it is now, but I'm not here to just blow smoke every Friday, and in this case, Wednesday. I like the Dolphins to win the game, so I'll take them 20-10 in this one. If you're looking for Saints content, you can find it at Hunt on Saints, certainly at LouisianaSports.net as well. Ross Jackson will have you covered through the Thanksgiving holiday. If you're looking for injury report news, Ross will have that daily as we're kind of away as a station, but he'll certainly be there at the Saints facility as we move through the week. Jordan, you ready to pick the Saints to win this one?
Not really, no. I don't know where I'm at with the Saints. Like, that Atlanta game just traumatized me. I'm just show up. That's all I can say. Just show up and just keep it. Don't get blown out by the Dolphins. That's all I can say. Just don't get blown out. That's where I'm at.
Bills got blown out by the Dolphins.
Exactly. So don't do that. You're not the Bills. You don't have that leeway to do that. So no.
Truer words never spoken. Yeah. You are certainly not the Bills. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We got a busy second hour coming up for you. In the second hour, we'll talk to JD Pickell of On3 Sports in 15 minutes. I guess 20 minutes from right now. We got our SEC football power rankings coming up at 2:30. When we come back, LSU and Oklahoma pick. We talked to Whit Weeks yesterday about his journey and his injury. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this LSU offense and how they can muster anything against what is a really, really stout defense for Oklahoma. We talked to Brandon Drum about it at the top of the show. So about 50 minutes ago, we chatted with Brandon Drum, who covers Oklahoma for On3. You can catch that at Hunt on LSU. Or you can just wait 5 minutes, and I'll talk about it after we pause national headlines with SportsCenter. Come back with more next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com. It's built by Renaissance.com. I'm going to give you Joey Blanchard's phone number here at the end of this read. And I tell you that so you can get your phone out, because now's the time to start thinking about getting the pool of your dreams. You've always thought about, I'd love to get into a pool in my own backyard. I'd love an outdoor kitchen. Well, Renaissance Homes and Pools can help you with that. And the beauty of working with Renaissance Homes and Pools is you work with Joey directly. Joey's the owner. He's not going to take a new job in the middle of your gig. He's not going to be thinking about 4 different. No, he's going to be locked in, because this is his livelihood. This is his business. And he's helped dozens and dozens and dozens of Baton Rouge area folks get into the pool of their dream. Resort-style pools, little cocktail pools, outdoor kitchens, entertainment areas. Renaissance Homes and Pools can do it for you. Give Joey a call, 225-252-7745. It's 225-252-7745. Check them out, builtbyrenaissance.com.